Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's dive into the story where our OP works as a dishwasher at a local pizza joint and deals with a snarky, condescending manager. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. They told me to clock out when I go to the bathroom. So I did. I was a dishwasher for a local pizza joint. Not the most respectable of jobs, but hey, money's money. I'm a damn good worker. I show up 10 minutes early every day, never take off, and I get crap done. I can put up with a lot of nonsense. This place was getting to me. One thing after another. Most importantly, the manager was the most snarky, condescending man I've ever met. This is important to the story. I have IBS issues, but it's never been a problem because I use the bathroom before work. Today, I needed to use the restroom during work hours, which I don't usually do. I was in there for 10 minutes tops. The place was a ghost town. I didn't even have a fork to wash. I would literally stand there waiting for something to be used so I can clean it. I came out of the restroom and was curtly informed that I needed to clock out the next time I used the restroom. What? Okay, fine. I laughed it off and said I'd comply. I just wanted to continue my shift and mind my own business. Here's the fun part. The manager and assistant manager decided it would be a fun game to make fun of me. They're adults, mind you, hence the snarky, condescending part. They were loudly talking behind my back intentionally so I could hear them and said something along the lines of, yeah, OP thinks it's funny that I told them to clock out when they use the restroom. So I turned from what I was doing, literally standing there waiting for dirty dishes, and look at them in disbelief. Two grown men thought it would be funny to poke fun at the dishwasher. They look at me and say, "Isn't that funny, OP?" I say, "No, I don't find it funny at all," and turn back to my incredibly busy post. The manager then proceeds to gleefully sing out, "Hey, I'm clocking out to use the restroom. Just wanted to let everyone know." This was typical for this guy. Last straw, right as it was getting busy during dinner when I would usually be swamped with dishes, I go to the manager, I say, "Hey, just want to let you know I was clocking out to use the bathroom." He was busy, so he just gave me the look of, "Okay, you can go potty now." And I said I would be returning home to use the toilet at my house and that it shouldn't be a problem since I was off the clock. He started to argue and I just left. Not my problem since I was off the clock. F that guy. I may get some crap for leaving them in the lurch, but I honestly don't feel bad. They had it coming. This was only one instance of my patience being tested by this snarky butt munch of a man. In the off chance that he uses Reddit and recognizes me, you are a snarking, condescending butt munch. Just wanted to make that clear and direct, just in case. Edit. This happened a few months ago, and I have a very wonderful job now with people who respect me. I was in a bad place at the time, so I needed to stick with that and deal with their bullcrap, but that was the last straw. To those saying I could have a legal case, USA by the way, you may be right, and it would give me so much satisfaction to see them gone, but they're already struggling, and if they shut down, I'd feel seriously bad for the good waitresses that work there. Plus, I'm pretty sure I'd have an angry mob at my house with pitchforks because I shut down one of the only eating places in my small town. Don't mess with my pizza. I'll take it into consideration, though, if I happen to somehow cross paths with them again or end up in a similar situation. This post has made me realize that if you give it your all, you deserve all the damn respect that everyone else gets, and F those that say different. It's always a shame when you do a damn good job, but some manager has to mess it up, and suddenly it's 100% your fault for acting that way. And our second story. Do you know who my husband is? This is actually something that happened to me over 20 years ago, but for some reason it just popped into my head, and since it fits here, well, here we are. When my now ex-husband was stationed at an Air Force base along the Gulf Coast, I worked in the layaway customer service catalog order gift wrapping department at the back of the base exchange, BX there, and had already been there for over a year. I was very well liked by both my coworkers and supervisors. Usually at this department, it's just to kind of walk in and get what you need, as it's usually not a super busy department. However, beginning not long after Halloween and on to the new year, it gets horribly busy, and at that point it was required everyone pull a number from the ticket dispenser at the entryway to the department. Once the holiday season began, this was absolutely a hard, fast rule no matter what. One weekend day, we were wall-to-wall people, and from the moment we opened the registers, we were busy. It got so bad we had to call a couple of people over from other departments for the sole purpose of ringing through layaways so a couple people in our department could do nothing but gift wrap and grab layaways from the back that were being paid in full. I was at the register that was doing payments only on layaways, not even PIFs, just payments. I'm waiting on a customer when I happen to glance up and see a woman walk through the entryway and come straight to my register. No number grabbed, nothing. Just walked up straight to me and interrupted me with the customer I was currently assisting. Her: "You need to help me immediately. I'm in a rush and can't wait very long." Me: "Ma'am, while I can appreciate that, everyone here has somewhere else they'd like to be. If you'd just grab a numbered ticket there." Her, interrupting me: "I don't have time for that. You need to just assist me now." At this point, I'd finished up with the customer I was helping and turned to click on the now being served, which was the number I called out. "Number 75. Next customer, number 75, please." Her, now turning purple, she's so mad: "Excuse me, you need to help me now. Do you know who my husband is?" Me: "Unless he's number 75, it really doesn't matter." As if this isn't enough of a mic drop, this is where it gets really good. She's now apoplectic and demands to speak with my manager. Fair enough. Let's go get her from the back where she's pulling PIF layaways and counting cash to be deposited in the main safe because our registers are getting full. Me to supervisor, I'm paraphrasing because it's been so long ago: "Mary, this customer walked in, didn't take a number, came right to my register and demanded I take care of her ahead of a couple of dozen of customers who patiently waited. I asked her to pull a number, but she refused and then asked me if I knew who her husband was. I should tell you I told her unless he was number 75, it didn't really matter." Mary comes out to the registers and walks up to the woman and says, "Ma'am, I'm this employee supervisor, and she tells me you'd like to talk to me." Entitled customer: "Yes, this..." My supervisor held her hand up and cut off the woman and says, "Ma'am, I'd love to help you right this second, but as you can see, we're really busy. If you could just pull a number, I'll speak with you when it's your turn." At that, Mary turned around and walked back to the back and pulled PIF layaways. I wish I could describe the range of emotions that this customer experienced before she finally turned on her heel and left in a huge huff. Then, to add insult to injury, just as the woman was departing, another customer, I have no idea who, said loud enough for the room to hear, "Get back to us when your husband's more than a lieutenant." Best customer service day ever. Edit: forgot to mention her husband, who was indeed a lieutenant, came in the next day and apologized for her behavior. "Attention shoppers, we have a woman who doesn't know who her husband is. If you can identify him, please come to the customer service desk." And our last story. Real estate agent thinks he owns my driveway. This is a story my dad told me from about 15 years ago when he owned a house in a busy part of Seattle in a neighborhood that was always full of parked cars. Parking was a nightmare, but my dad was lucky enough to have a private driveway, though you wouldn't know it by the number of people who ignored the private property no parking sign on the garage door. One morning after working a late night shift at a local factory, Dad came home to find a brand new BMW parked right in the middle of his driveway. The audacity of some people. He had to leave his car on the street, which was a problem because break-ins and vandalism had become common in the neighborhood. And wouldn't you know it, his truck had already been broken into twice that year. Trying to be civil, he left a polite note on the windshield of the BMW. "Please don't park here. This is private property. Thank you." He hoped that would solve the problem. Of course it didn't. The very next day, when Dad got home, there it was again, the same shiny BMW sitting in his driveway. Annoyed, he left a much less polite note this time, warning, "Stop parking here, or I'll call the police and have your car ticketed. Next time, it'll get towed." You'd think that would do the trick, right? Wrong. The next morning, the BMW was there again, parked as if it belonged there. Dad had reached his limit. He called the police, who came by and happily issued a ticket. The driveway was finally clear the next day, and my dad thought he'd won the battle. But that wasn't the end of it. Later that afternoon, as my dad was working on his truck, a luxury car rolled up in front of the house, and out stepped a guy in his late 30s wearing a sharp business suit and looking like he'd just walked out of a high-rise downtown. The guy looked furious, and he stormed up the driveway with the ticket in hand. "Hey, are you the one who called the cops on my car?" the man barked. My dad wiped his hands on a rag and stood up straight. "Yeah, that was me. You've been parking in my driveway for 3 days now." The guy's face turned red as he waved the ticket in my dad's face. "Do you know how much this ticket is? Do you know who I am?" Dad looked at him calmly and said, "Does it matter? This is private property and you've been trespassing. I warned you, but you didn't listen." The guy wasn't backing down. "I'm a real estate agent. I have clients all over this area, and parking here is impossible. I'm not paying for overpriced parking in some garage when I can park here. What's the big deal? You're not even using it." My dad raised an eyebrow. "I wasn't using it because you were blocking it. And I don't care what you do for a living, that doesn't give you the right to park on my property." That's when the guy completely lost it. "I'm not paying this ticket. You should pay it. You cost me business by blocking me from parking here." Dad chuckled at the absurdity of it. "I'm not paying anything. And if I see your car here again, I'm calling a tow truck." The guy's face went from red to purple. "I'll sue you. You'll regret this," he yelled, stomping his feet like a child throwing a tantrum. My dad was having none of it. "Go ahead, sue me. But right now you're trespassing again, so unless you want me to call the cops right now, I suggest you leave." Seeing he wasn't going to get his way, the guy turned on his heel and marched back to his car, shouting more threats as he left. He screeched off, tires squealing, but that was the last we saw of him. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.